Fort Laramie in Wyoming. Oh, yawning, I saw that.
No, How are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Hot today.
Besides hot.
I'm good. I'm actually staying pretty cool this morning. Thank goodness I'm not here in the afternoon.
Couldn't imagine dragging that across this country.
It was quite a trek, and that's for sure. They were expected to do 1,300 miles in a matter of 9 weeks.
Oh,
So
wow.
average of 18 miles per day. Obviously, they experienced significant delays because these hand carts here were made with unseasoned wood, made pretty fast, so they would crack and shrink and all of that on the trail. So multiple repairs were needed to keep these going.
They couldn't wear shorts either to keep cool, huh?
No,
I think they had shorts.
No.
The 1800s.
honestly, the long sleeves and like my long dress here and this bonnet keeps me really safe from the sun. So it's completely understandable as to why they were wearing such
Oh, wow.
heavy clothing.
Said 1,300 miles in how many days?
In 9 weeks.
9 weeks. Right.
Wow.
That's still a lot.
It is. And the handcart is often associated with the Mormons, however, it wasn't exclusive to them. And they only used it for about 4 years with 10 handcart companies, so about 3,000 people from 1856 to 1860.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good day.
You too.
True.
Time to rally the troops. See the remains of 2 bakeries that were here. They said that the army bakers produced a 1 18-ounce loaf daily for each man at the fort. And there's 700 men stationed here. Imagine the production that had to be. That's amazing.
Were you walking all the way down here?
Yeah, walk up and around. Coming? Come on. Gotta get your steps in. Come on, baby. Get your steps in today. You don't care?
This place is huge and hot.
See the whining we have to put up with on the Oregon Trail. We're here at Fort Laramie and she's still complaining that it's hot. So a lot of the treaty negotiations just happened over here, this open field on the other side of the Laramie River here. You can picture that, the teepee set up, the livestock there, and the U.S. government crossing over from Fort Laramie over here to over there to do negotiations. They also said that the immigrants passing through also camped out across the river here, and they stayed over there versus on the fort grounds. Our history is amazing. It's a shame that a lot of it today is getting wiped out. So they built several bridges crossing the Laramie River, anywhere from 14 to 16 feet wide, up to 236 feet long. 236 feet. It's an amazing accomplishment for the 1800s. Here in Fort Laramie, the Laramie River and the North Platte River join. So I'm assuming at that point the Laramie River would end. The North Platte would have expanded in size. Probably again, the Laramie River back in the 1800s was probably a lot bigger than what it is here today. today. Just because I'm sure, as they have done with the Platte, they've migrated a lot of water off of it for irrigation for the farms up here. Some of these buildings have been restored to the point that you can go into them. Some are still under restoration, and some are still slowly rotting away. So this looks like it would have been a jail. Just going by the bars and the walls and the 2x4s on the outside to keep them shut. Military justice, punishment harsh and certain. So this guardhouse was built in 1866, and it was set up to hold 40 prisoners. Now the prisoners had no furniture, and everything they did, whether it was eat, sleep, or urinate, all happened inside these cells. And above it is where the, I guess the guards stayed, for no better words. It's amazing. Let's go take a peek inside. Can you imagine? Bird's nest up here. Must leave this door open 24/7. To the droppings there. All the droppings. Like mouse droppings. You can imagine though, this was set up for 40 prisoners to be in here. In this little room. And evidently, if you're really bad, you got thrown in here. And hopefully if you were in here, you had no cellmates. This was all unheated. So whatever the weather was outside, is what the weather was in here. Just amazing. And this was not for local residents. This wasn't a sheriff's jail. This was a military prison. So if you were a soldier and you misbehaved, little things as bad-mouthing somebody, losing an item, a military item. It's amazing. This is where you would come and stay. Crazy, huh? They said before the Civil War they could actually hang them up by the thumbs and make them walk all day with a log tied around their back. Amazing. This probably shows better the vastness of this fort. Now, not depicted here, there are no walls. So, none of the pictures I've seen had any walls around it. So, seems as if the fort was just open. Now, of course, this would be the captain's quarters. Nicest building on the fort. Let's tour the captain's quarters. Bearskin rug, fiddle, old photo viewer, wood stove. Pretty nice furniture for the, I won't say for the day. The craftsmanship back then was better than it is today. Kitchens were a little different than they are today. If you notice, there's no sink. Big stove, but no sink. Beautiful light. The reflector behind it to shine the light back forward to brighten the room. Beautiful, I'm gonna say refrigerator. Ice box. Look how narrow these steps are. Beautiful bed. Mattress doesn't look real comfortable, but I said bats are living in the attic. So bat droppings on hot days makes it stink. Old puzzle. Rocking horse. Whole family lived in one room. Amazing. So a depiction of what Fort William looked like. It was 100 feet by 80 feet. It was all cottonwood logs or 15 feet high that made the palisade, the outside wall perimeter. It was privately owned, and it was for fur trading. Second fort they built here was Fort John. $10,000 to rebuild and build a new Fort John that was out here. It was 121 feet by 167 feet. This is a depiction of Fort Laramie in 1858. As you can see, there are no exterior walls around it. Picture, I'm not sure if you can see over here, these are actually teepees out here. I just love the history of the West. Actually, I love the history of the U.S. It's always amazing, you know, what our country has gone through in the past 240 years. Where we started, what it became, and where we're going. Nothing here that says what this would have been. Maybe food storage? Little root cellar. Been awfully small, but quite possibly just a root cellar. Intrigued too by the different plants that are out here versus what we have back in New England. This has all kinds of burrs on it. It's very pretty, but even the pods that the flower comes out of is all full of burrs. This was rough country. Yuccas and cactus and everything has burrs on it out here. This be another. Had to be a root cellar. Well, if you look at this up here was Fort Laramie in 1868. But in here in 1887, they had enhanced it. Trees, grass, gas lights, boardwalks, picket fences, vine-covered verandas, Modern comfortable quarters, even bird baths. Amazing what 20 years does for a place. Oh, officers' quarters. Of course, they would be nicer. Probably enlisted, slept on the ground. I gotta look out back here though, because I'm thinking these little red buildings that outline the back. I bet these are the outhouses. Yep, these have been latrines. Oh, and no prize of privacy at all. 2-hole latrines. Officer's privy. I guess bring your Sears and Roebuck catalog with you. So you got toilet paper. So otherwise, you can see the newspaper in the middle, whether it's for reading or wiping. Probably that's the old Sears Roebuck cable catalog there on the nail. So this over here was Officer's Row. This here was the sutler's store. So the adobe portion here was actually built in 1849. Right section was added in 1852. Amazing, they're still standing. So this is what's left of the enlisted man quarters. So this is pretty interesting. About 150 men were here. It was a 2-story barracks, were sparsely furnished. Bunks made of wood by quartermasters were 2 tiers high, with each tier accommodating 2 men. The Indian Wars term bunkie, referring to a soldier's closest comrade, derived from the sleeping arrangement. So the word we used for years for, people were barracks with their bunkies, all derived from these guys sharing a bed. It's amazing. You weren't just out here in the middle of nowhere, but you're sharing your bed with as they put it, your closest comrade. Because I guess if you sleep with them, you got to be close. So this building here is called Old Bedlam. It's the oldest structure in Wyoming. Oldest known structure in Wyoming is what they say. I suppose the bachelor officers' quarters, and we call Bedlam from the groans and whatnot they said they heard coming out of it, so they called it the Bedlam. All the riots. It's probably the single officers taking the launderers there. Nope, this here goes with the, we read outside, this is here on December 25th, John Portuguese Phillips finished his 236-mile ride to obtain troops for the relief of Fort Phil Kearny after the Fetterman Massacre. 236 miles in 2 days through a blizzard with sub-zero temperatures, they said. Said the horse passed away the following day, just of pure exhaustion. That'd be really cool if those are signatures of the people that were here. You see the combined quarters. The adobe construction. you not be fascinated by how these people lived. Well out back. Windows. Original, you can see that they're hand blown. th Cavalry flag, Iowa Volunteers. More of the same. This would have been laundry, huh? Ironing board, old iron. This was the enlisted quarters mess hall. Not much different than what we had when I was in. Mess halls were the same. We had better seats and tables. And no wood stoves. The enlisted man's quarters. Not much different than what we had when I was in. Our beds were a little more comfortable, but we had to make hospital corners, which they don't have here. And bounce quarters. Great memories. Yeah, other than that, not much difference. All of us in one big room. You know, foot lockers, we had wall lockers, not foot lockers. But yeah, pretty much that was it. Beds weren't much farther apart than that either. A little bigger, a little more modern. Springs in the bottom versus boards, and mattresses versus whatever those are. Probably full of hay. Sure they weren't down. No running water, so water barrel in the middle. Guns in and probably locked today. I can't imagine they were locked back then. Be hard to get them out. Pretty cool. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this little walk down through history at Fort Laramie here in Fort Laramie, Wyoming. Again, beautiful spot. If you're out this way, definitely say stop by. It's pretty cool. They've got some nice cold beer too. So, all right, we will see you on the road.